You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests and repeat offenders, both of them. Welcome back. Blake Vartanian, Jim Norton, Realty Pro 100. Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Good to be here, Ron.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We're sort of celebrating today. We're going to talk about that a lot. You may want to go and today's National Wine Day, so you may want to go get a glass of wine before you hear what I have to say today, because I'm going to give it to you. Both barrels are coming at you like it's kind of old school. I don't know if I should use this one, but yeah, we're going both barrels today. National, let's talk about this. And I'll give you what the markets are doing in a minute. But, you know, we talk about, and I watch a lot of news. A lot of us talk about news. And I'm going to share with you some thoughts today. Obviously, our hearts go out to all of those families in Texas. Nothing you can say good about that. I can't imagine the feeling that those parents have right now. But I'm going to say to you something that no one else is saying. You're not going to hear this anywhere other than Ron Siegel Radio. As a country, do we really care? And the reason I say that is right after 9/11, 2001, how long did it take us to get the TSA in place, to get airplane cockpits hardened so people couldn't get in there? How long did that take? How long does it take to get a federal building retrofitted so that you have to go through metal detectors and get security checks to go into a federal building? How long to get into a courthouse? How long has it taken us to secure banks? How long has it taken us to secure all these places that we really wanted to secure? How long did it take to pass $40 billion to go to Ukraine? Now, I understand that we need to protect other parts of the world, but is there anything more valuable than our kids? Why don't we have the guts to do that with our kids? Why don't we have the guts to do that with our schools? The president came out last night and started off with a very emotional and empathetic plea, and then went to his garbage about the NRA. There isn't a gun that kills anybody. It's a person that kills people. We let people into the schools. We don't have any police officers there. Why not? We don't have any armed guard. There's volunteers that'll go in there and do that job and protect the kids. Why aren't we allowing it? Why aren't we allowing people that want to be armed, teachers in those places, to be armed? Why aren't we encouraging it? Why aren't we mandating it? Right? Because we don't care. We like to talk about it. Steve Kerr goes out last night and cries. I mean, who cares about what a basketball coach has to say any more than what a radio guy has to say about these situations? Come up with a solution. Not telling me that the guns are at fault or the registration's at fault. You know, right down the block from where we broadcast for 40 years, 50 years, we had a mental hospital taking care of the mentally ill. But we don't want to fund it. Let's send the money to Ukraine. Let's send the money to Afghanistan. Well, hey, we retreated there. Might as well go and retreat somewhere else that doesn't. You hear about all these ads. Right now, we got all these ads going on about women, right? About women's rights, women's choice. Yet we send money to countries that are anti-women. Look what they're doing in Afghanistan again. Look what they do in half the Middle East. But we support them. Why? I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe you want to call your Congress people. Maybe you want to call your senator. Or maybe you want to call the state legislature and tell them to stop worrying about all this garbage that's irrelevant. Electric cars for everybody, being that we don't have enough electricity even to turn on air conditioners. And to tell them to go do something that's legitimate. Don't worry about a gun. You know, why don't we write a law to outlaw mass murder? Oh, wait, we have that already, but we don't follow that one. So let's write a law that says we can't get a gun. Maybe they'll follow that law. Come on, wake up. Bunch of idiots. Get with it. Now we look at we're not feeding our kids. First time in history, the U.S. needs humanitarian aid flights coming into the U.S. We send those out because we don't have formula for our babies. Really? We were deficient in the supply chain of formula before they closed the Abbott plant that produces 40%. Well, where was the government following up to see if that lab was opened again? They just, we'll close it because somebody got a feather in their cap saying that they closed that lab and and it solves the problem that we don't have the safety hazard. Good. Now we don't have a safety hazard. We don't have food for the babies. Maybe it's because the babies don't vote. Maybe it's for the kids in Texas don't vote. Just throw that out there for you. Think about that concept. And then let's move closer to home. This will ought to get me real trouble. Let's move closer to home and talk about the Anaheim City Council. What a bunch of gutless individuals. In this country, isn't it a fact that you're innocent until proven guilty? Isn't that still part of our Constitution? Now, I don't know whether they did what they said they were doing or not. I don't know that answer. I don't think anybody knows that except those people on the city council. So did they admit that they were all colluding? Did they admit that they were all doing these things? I don't know. But here's the situation in my mind. I look at it and say, if you canceled that deal before the evidence was adjudicated, I think it's an admission of guilt. I don't know. Maybe not. They're going to love me for that because they listen. Maybe it is. But here's the issue that takes it one step further is why wouldn't they have just put it on hold to see where all of this laid out? And let's ask one more question. Have you ever heard a press conference where the FBI is involved or the Department of Justice is involved and they make a comment and they say, we can't comment on this because there's a pending investigation? I've heard that many, many times. I don't know if you've ever heard that one. Maybe I'm the only one that's ever heard that. But if there's a pending investigation and we all know about it now, could it be that maybe the FBI doesn't have the evidence to put any charges out there? Because nobody's even charged in all of these things in Anaheim. So no one's been charged, but now the city council has terminated the deal with the Angels. What is that telling us? I'm just throwing these questions out there for you. And I know that I'll get some grief because I do know quite a few of the city council members. But you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we might have to mellow out a little bit. I might go get a glass of wine while we're on break. How buying or selling a home benefits the economy and your community. Diana Olick is at it again. I'm going to talk about that one and see what the guys have to say on that. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional? Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Let's check it out. Let's see what's going on in the markets this morning. Let's see the S&P 500 up 15. 10-year Treasury flat this morning. Mortgage-backed securities up 5 basis points. What does that mean for interest rates? Yesterday, the loans locked. Oh, they're going back down. I told you that would probably happen a little bit. OBMMI provides the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. 30-year conforming loan yesterday, 5.323. 30-year jumbo loan, 4.823. 30-year FHA loan, 5.248. VA loan, best loan on the market. Thank you, veterans. 30-year, 4.93. The USDA loan, 5.162. And heaven forbid you have the 15. I know some people like the 15-year, 4.419. Why is it happening? What's going on? Well, once again, I've shared this with you many, many times. If you are a CNBC watcher, sorry, but if you're listening to Diana Olick, please don't. Right? I mean, she talks about real estate. She's been telling us for the last 10 years that real estate is not a good investment, that it's falling. And here she goes again today, spewing out more garbage, giving you half the story. So if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, she's telling us, well, you can't afford a house. And she uses a $300,000 home price 2019, payment $1,192. That payment for the same property today, $1,991 because of interest rates changing. Okay, that's true. They went from $1,192 to $1,119 in 2020 to $1,245 in 2021 and $1,991 now. Property value went from $300,000 to $438,000. I Miss Oleg, why don't you tell them what you said in 2019 about not buying a house and not having that extra $138,000 in wealth? Didn't hear that part of your conversation this morning. Didn't hear the part of the conversation just discussing that it's still the best investment. Hey, you know something? You're right. Prices did go up. But as I've said before, you have to live somewhere, and it's going to cost just a little bit extra to have a roof over your head. So maybe you want to live out on the street, Miss Oleg. Maybe that's what you're suggesting to most people. Interest rates. We're still in a negative interest rate environment. What does that mean? Well, the neutral rate is basically where the Fed funds rate is the same as the inflation rate. Fed funds sitting about 0.75 right now. Which inflation number do you want to use? PCE core 5.2. Do you want to use the PCE at about 8.3? Tell me what number to use. But any of them means that we're in negative interest. That's not good. Now, about 11 o'clock our time here in California, the Federal Reserve is going to release their minutes from their last meeting. Generally, that is a negative sign for mortgage rates. We'll see what happens because there have been so many Fed chairs or Fed presidents, not Fed chairs, but Fed presidents out speaking lately. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow, we're going to get the pending home sales report. We'll see on that one as well. That's the Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. I think I've talked long enough.
I'm cuckoo and you're cuckoo, so let's take a chance to do a new dance. Well, I'm cuckoo and you're cuckoo, sing la 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 la.
Josh, I don't know where you found that one, but Laurel and Hardy. Oh no, it's actually Blake. What's that? Blake Vartanian and Jim Norton are in the house.
Which one's Laurel? Which one's Hardy?
I'm not going to answer that question. There's no way that I'll get involved. So what do you think? I mean, I've talked for about 14 minutes today.
Well,
real estate values.
I'm reacting to the MSNBC girl. CNBC, whichever.
Diana Olick, yes.
Yeah, okay. She's they jump around. There's it's almost like physics in real estate. There's rules that as long as you follow some of the basic rules of real estate, you're going to do fine. And a time to buy right now, everything's negative. Oh, the interest rates are doing this and everything. But at the same time, product is available. It's summer. People are moving. Products available. Prices are not jumping up because we've lost a few buyers because of interest rates going up.
Can I throw that at you? Can I challenge you there?
Well,
have you lost a few buyers, or have those buyers just had to move to a different price point?
Okay, I'll go with that. I'll just
right. The guy that was able to.
We're in agreement on that.
Yeah, when the buyer was able to buy a $1,031,000 median home price in Orange County, California. Right, maybe they can only buy a $900,000 now, but they're still out there wanting a house.
Right, but there are 900s out there because we're seeing the market now start to react and give you some houses that have been on there too long, price decreasing. Basically,
you must have been listening to us this week. We talked about the increased number.
I don't get out of bed till noon, so I don't know.
No. I'm not going to go there with you, but we did talk about the number of increased properties that are seeing price reductions nationwide. Are you seeing that in a local area?
Yes.
Okay.
We're seeing a little bit of everything. I mean, you're seeing the open house come back on the weekends.
Okay.
Look at the signs on the corner. You're seeing the price. If it's been on the market too long, they're realizing, okay, we need to decrease the price. You're seeing the variation, which was gone. And that variation, what I mean is the fixer-upper on Street A. There's a fixer-upper and a beautiful already rehabbed house. And they are both getting the same price, and they are both selling in 5 minutes. Now you're starting to see the discrepancy come back and go, okay, this one does need some work, so it's being priced right. This one doesn't need work, so it's being priced right. And those that could, well, wait a minute, I can't afford $30,000 more now, but I can't afford to fix it up.
So earlier in the week, I talked about We've got an increase in price reductions. We've got a decrease in the number of, we've got an increase in inventory, and we've got a decrease in the number of properties that come on the market with an immediate sale.
Right.
What does that tell you guys?
We're normalizing.
Okay. What does normalizing mean?
Normalizing. What was it? Average 30-day, 35 days on the market. If we go historically, 35 days on the market, price differentiation based on the what you're getting for the house.
Okay, so I just pulled up. What city do you focus on, Jim?
Orange County. I'm everywhere.
You're everywhere. Okay.
So I don't have a city.
He's just like
North Orange County.
He's just like Bandini. He's all over the place. Okay, so I just pulled up 92807. The Anaheim Hills. Days on the market has increased dramatically to 7. Wow. That's the median days on the market. The average days on the market is 18. Yeah. And that's gone up that's kind of flat, not up as much. Price decreases 27%, price increases 5%. Does that follow through with what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Well, there's several things in play here. You have a more normalizing inventory coming online. So if you look at a conversation I was involved in yesterday with one of our agents, he was telling me about how the area that he was looking at had 6 listings available last week, and another 24 listings came on in the last week. So now there's 30 homes available in that same geographic area he was looking at. And now I'm not.
And what is a norm?
Well, a normal seller.
I'd have to, being that you're old like me.
Yeah, I know.
We go to 2019 because we don't want to go to before, like 2019 approximately in that area. What would we just guess? Do you have any idea what we would have seen in that area?
In 2019?
Yeah.
Well, inventory's been tight for 3 years. So it's been exceptionally tight. So
okay.
we've been running about 15 to 20% of the normal inventory.
15 to 20% of the normal or below? Wow.
No, of the normal.
Of normal. That's a big difference.
Yes. So if you're looking at, it's not uncommon for Orange County to have over 10,000 properties on the market. Now you think all these new homes have been built in Orange County. All these families have moved in over the decades. And we're seeing, you're right now in the last report from Stephen Thomas's Orange County Home Report, there were 2,400 active homes on the market in all of Orange County and a population of over 3 million people.
Wow, so that's a 75% haircut.
That's a total
Some of us can't afford a haircut.
Total seller's market by any
right.
any stretch. But here's where it's going to balance out. The interest rates will cause some people to slow down their buying because they're going to want to make sure that they're investing their money exactly where they want it. And we are seeing remorse from people who we've gone on consultations. Mike Coco's our broker, was recently on a consultation with a seller who bought a house from another firm, and overpaid by $200,000 of the asking price. And she recently bought it in Fullerton, and she now wants to sell it because she's not happy with her investment decision. So, these kinds of things will happen because the remorse, but when, once you own it and you're living there, and you see a shift in the marketplace where you now could go out and buy something else, some people will decide to do that. So that will keep market activity going too, because in some cases, people settled in 2020, their property now has 100. We have a sale on our board that is a direct result of someone who bought a condo in 2020, and now they're ready to buy a house because with the extra equity they got.
When we come back, Blake, I want to get back to something you said there because I want to dig into this. Because this is something I think is going to be real important, that a person bought a house for $200,000 overpriced. How do we know it's overpriced? What is the time frame that it might take to get whole? And should we take a loss or hold? I want to talk about all that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. We've also got on our doc, and I don't, something, we'll see if we're going to do this. How buying and selling a home benefits the economy and your community. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And I'm going to throw a curveball at you, Josh. We're going to do a real quick Your Credit Matters segment brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It's wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer, they've got the solution for you. Just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Get a copy of the book. If you want to, it's our credit book. We offer this for free. Obviously, all this stuff. I mean, we give away so much stuff on Ron Siegel Radio. I don't know how we stay in business. It's kind of crazy. rsrcreditbook.com. RSR Credit. Jim, you're going to have to take a pay cut. rsrcreditbook.com, rsrcreditbook.com. That's Your Credit Matters segment today, being brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? So we're chatting this morning. Blake Vartanian and Jim Norton are with us from Realty Pro 100. And before the break, Blake made a comment that I want to dig into a little bit deeper with the guys, because I think this is going to be a major, major issue over the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months. We're going into a recession. That's my opinion. I think it's going to happen next year. Probably not this year, but I think we're going to be in a recession next year. Based on the numbers I shared with you on Tuesday, housing prices are going to level off next year. We already have the indicators that tell us that 12 months after these indicators all show up, housing prices level off. So the indicators are already come out. Shared those with you Tuesday. If you missed the broadcast, ronsiegelradio.com in the archives, that's already posted. Go look at it. But Blake made a comment that they were consulting with somebody that did a transaction with another firm outside of his firm. Then the consumer is of the belief that they paid $200,000 too much. Is that fair?
Yeah, over the asking. Mm-hmm.
200 over asking. So that may not have been too much, but 200 over asking.
Right. They won the bidding war, but lost out in there. It lost out because they're not happy. Okay,
so they got the property and they have buyer's remorse.
Yes.
Okay. Now, buyer's remorse then does that really mean that they've got a bad investment?
No, it just means they're not happy with their investment.
So are they going to? And I don't want to being that we don't know who they are, it doesn't matter. So we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So are they going to sell that right now? Are they going to relist and sell that property?
She's taking a passive approach to reviewing that. So there's not a formal decision yet to list the property, but she's said if we find the right, replacement property, she's willing to, put the house on the market, take a small loss and get on with it, because she wants her happiness more than she wants.
But the payment isn't a problem.
No.
Okay, so let's make sure we covered that.
Okay, so is this an investment property or an owner-occupied?
No, owner-occupied.
Owner-occupied, okay. So that's a whole interesting scenario, though, because so many people, owner-occupied, we know that people are buying generally because of a life issue,
mm-hmm.
right? They're getting married, they're having kids, they're getting divorced, they're getting older and right-sizing. For one reason or another, they want to have an entertainment house, some event in life. And it's not an issue of the price, right? I mean, price is a component, but for the most part, we buy because for our own use because of a life event. Is that right?
Yes.
Right.
Okay. So the irony becomes the price then created some level of remorse, even though they got what they wanted.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that, but the how, I think it comes down to she's having, what makes the decision harder is that, walking away from the money that's put into the house, I think. And so, because she's going to have to take, the market is not going to support that house coming back on the market and her getting all of her closing costs covered and then be able to find the replacement property. And she's still going to have to come out of pocket some cash.
But you're not talking
And
a
so-
20% loss.
No.
You're maybe a 5%.
No, but I'm just using it
Total.
as an example
Right.
of the euphoria that goes on when 40 or 50 or 60 offers are on a property and somebody goes and buys it. And when you look at the NAR statistics, I've read statistics
National Association of
I'm
Realtors.
sorry, yes, that as many as 70% of the people who overpaid, who bid up a property, had some level of remorse.
Yeah, you're using a term there, Blake, that we got to be careful of, though,
What's that?
right? Because how do you determine if somebody overpaid?
No, overbid.
Right,
I mean,
right. But I just want to clarify that
Oh,
is
yeah.
they were the winning bidder and they bid it up. That doesn't necessarily mean they paid overpaid.
That's a fair statement. I mean,
Because I'm going to submit that this lady had the realtor did a good job for her, assuming that that the consultation said, "I want this house."
Yeah, I'm not knocking.
Right?
I'm not knocking the other.
No, I know you're not. I'm just saying what my point is that if you're out there and you were the winning bidder last week or 2 weeks ago or 3 months ago, and you were the winning bidder on a property, what changed? Right? Did the property is still the property you wanted? You had a professional help you to get a property and to win that bid to get you into the property you wanted, to get the financing in place if you needed financing. So a lot of things were really good there. So now you look at it and you say, okay, well, the prices are flattening, or is it going back to with both of you guys were in the industry in 2006 and 7 when somebody said, well, I'm going to bid anything and then put it on the market next week and get another 20%.
No. I bought one at the top. I bought a townhome at the top, but I bought it knowing I'm at the top. I bought it
Recently or in 2006?
in 2007.
Okay, 7. Okay.
So we bought but I went after that particular product, excuse me, because it was a 1-story, 3-bedroom townhome. I mean, that's, we know the inside of the market, that's gold in Orange County.
Sure.
I mean, a 1-story.
Because some of us are getting pretty old.
They're all 2-story, right? So the 1-story, it's like, okay, this is just too good to pass up, knowing I'm going to be, and it took till 2013 before, after the drop of value, because remember we lost value in 2008 because the market, I mean the mortgage debacle at that time,
right,
caused the drop. So it was real estate related, and so but patiently, just rented the place out and waited till about 2013, and we got back to even par on the price. And now, of course, I think it's probably 25-30% higher in value than it was at the start. So if you look at the long term, which leads me back to this particular sample we're talking about today, is you paid, let's say you paid, I don't know what she paid. So but let's use $1 million, simple round numbers, right? So let's say she paid $1 million and now she's having buyer's remorse. What would have been a non-buyer's remorse price? 800, 900? Let's just say 900 would have been. Okay, now she would have.
Well, it was listed obviously. If you're saying $1 million, it was listed at 800.
Right.
Right, because they paid 200. Oh,
Right.
they bid it up 200 over.
Now she's thinking buyer remorse. I should have really stayed at 800. But you're talking about 800 at 3.5%, at 800 now at 5.5%. So are you really what have you really?
So you're
lost?
talking about interest,
right? But what have you really lost? Her payment hasn't changed. It's you got to look at it from that standpoint. What is it out of pocket? Maybe it really hasn't lost value. It's just you can't flip it in 3 months. But at the same
that's
time,
a big issue. But go back to something you said before that, Jim, which is a real important point here that I don't want us to skim over. 2007, you bought a property that you liked for whatever reason, whether it's investment or personal use, lost value in the biggest crash we've had in our country since 1929, and all the way till 2013, you had to wait until you were back even.
Yeah,
A whole 6 years,
exactly.
right? Give or take. It might have been less depending upon when in each year. But the bottom line then is, so what I'm saying in that scenario is, theoretically, if somebody made the worst decision of their life in 2022 and bought at the very, very top, what's that going to be worth 6 years from now? We don't know, but
don't know.
But likelihood
at
is
the same time, the same incentive isn't there for that price drop. I mean, prices were dropping because people were dumping houses. The market was dumping.
Right.
In 2007, remember the people couldn't make the payments, couldn't do anything. So
huge amount of distressed property.
This is a different situation. The market is calming because of factors, but demand isn't gone away. I mean, demand dried up.
Right. Back then, demand dried up.
We had more it was supply and demand inverted.
Right.
Back then,
there was a huge amount of supply and diminished
back.
demand.
Right. And so this one, in this situation, we're not even looking at this. We're not even talking about the same thing. We still have pent up demand.
Right.
Just people are readjusting their thought pattern to new interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. Unfortunately, we all get to say, because we're a little older here, we remember when, if you got 7.5% on an interest rate, you were doing good. But if you were floating in the 8 to 8.5% range for 20 years, that was right in the pocket. I mean, that's where you wanted to be.
Sure. Well, think about it, right?
Went to 5.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was running out refinancing stuff.
Well, and still far below the true inflation rate. And I was talking to a restaurant operator who told me he could sell his wings for $15, and today those same wings are $27.
Wow.
So he said,
I was talking about angel wings or something like that.
Pre-pandemic, it was $15, and now because of cost of labor and the cost of food, it's $27. So I just want to say something really quick. This is a $5 bill. When Jim and I were kids.
You sure that's a $5 bill? Let me see that.
This is with
Thanks.
Abraham Lincoln on it. You're welcome. and we could go to Gilligan's Island liquor store, and we could buy a candy bar for a nickel. You could buy 20 for $1 or 100 for $5. Today,
candy bars?
We loved candy bars. We were candy kids.
I still do, and I don't remember those prices.
I can't have a candy bar.
Well, okay, if it was a dime, you could buy it. Okay, today they're $1.29 in the fast food place. I mean, convenience stores, or maybe get one for $89 or $99.
I mean, I think your point. I think your underlying point is
everything's
the problem today. Isn't the interest rates creeping up?
Wait a second. Wait, we're going to talk to Jim when we come back. We're going to talk to Jim about what the problem is today. They're hollering at me. We got to get to a break.
$5.
And Blake lost $5 just now. How buying or selling a home benefits the economy and your community, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Find out exactly what your property value is, 3 different sources. We even give you the one that's wrong. Oh yeah, it starts with some company starting with Z. I don't know what that is, but they'll give we put that on there so you'll have it because I know you're going to look there anyway. And we'll give you a couple other sources what the value is. Also, no advertising and no obligation. You can find out any property in the country, what's listed that meets your criteria. I know that you can get these searches from your local real estate professional, but most of them are not going to be able to help with a property that's 1,000 miles from where they're living. Just the way it works. RSR Home Scout, the agent's a team with us. They have that available for you. How buying or selling a home benefits the economy and your community. If you're thinking of buying or selling a home, chances are you're focusing on the many extraordinary ways it'll change your life. But do you know it has a large impact on your community too? To measure that impact, the National Association of Realtors, NAR, releases a report each year to highlight just how much economic activity a home sale generates. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of the socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're seeing a chart that shows how the sale of both a newly built home and an existing home impact the economy. A lot of great information on the impact generated from real estate industries, $31,742. National numbers. Remember, these are all national. For Southern California, you might double or triple these numbers. 28%, 0.1% of the total impact. Expenditures related to home purchase, $5,000, 4.4% of the total impact. Multiplier of housing-related expenditures. The multiplier means like the extra UPS business or the extra trucking business to bring in the extra lumber that's going to bring it, do the remodel of the home, all those things. $17,636, 15.6% of the total impact. New home construction, $58,781. We got to add about $200,000 to California just for the fees and whatnot, but that's a different story. 51.9% of the total impact. As the visual shows, single home sale can have a significant effect on the overall economy. To dive a little deeper, NAR also provides a detailed look at how that varies state by state for newly built homes. The economic impact of a newly built home in California. This just blows my mind. $247,000. You're a builder, right? Mm-hmm. $247,000 of economic impact for a newly built home. Nationally, $113,200.
I honestly never looked at it that way. That's actually a pretty impressive number.
Pretty staggering. You may be wondering, how can a single home sale have such a major effect on the economy? For starters, there are multiple industries that play a role in the process. Numerous contractors, specialists, lawyers, town and city officials, and so many other professionals are all necessary at various stages during the transaction. Every individual you work with, like your trusted real estate advisor, has a team of professionals involved behind the scenes. That means when you buy or sell a home, you're leaving a lasting impression on the community at large. Let the knowledge that you're contributing to those around you while also meeting your own needs help you feel even more empowered when you decide to make your move this year. Bottom line, home buyers and sellers are economic drivers in their community and beyond. Let's connect so you have a trusted advisor on your side if you're ready to get started. Won't just change your life, it'll make a powerful impact on your community all over. And as I always ask, if you know anybody looking to buy, sell, or borrow, any friends, family, or coworkers, can we count on you to have them call us? 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast again, Ron Siegel 1. Continue our conversation. We're talking to Blake Vartanian and Jim Norton with Realty Pro 100. And I don't know about you. Before the break, we were chatting with Blake, and he was giving us a bit of a visual and an example. And I think we need to take that another step further because I'm a simple guy, and I'm not sure I got the correlation, Blake. Sure. So you went there and talking about candy bars that cost you a nickel at the turn of the last century, not this century. And the you know, how now it, I shouldn't say this because my wife might listen based on my opening monologue today. I think I paid $1.49 for a candy bar a couple days ago.
That makes sense.
Right, a nickel to $1. So how does that correlate to housing? What we were talking about housing here.
Well, the cost of all the materials to build a house, so new construction costs are up. And then you have, you know, existing pre-built homes that people are willing to use more dollars because in many cases people are making higher incomes and they have higher discretionary income. And in Orange County, you know, about a third of the homes, real estate in the marketplace is owned without a mortgage. So there's a tremendous amount of wealth that's sitting there waiting to be utilized. So I don't think we're anywhere close to a massive shift downward at all. I think we're actually at a normal stopping point for an interim period of time where people are,
holy cow, a normal stopping point.
well, because every market,
explain that to me, what you
no
mean by
market
that.
goes straight up forever.
Okay.
So what happens is you kind of plateau.
Taking a breather
Take a
there.
little breather, and people are waiting to see what the Fed does next, what happens with interest rates. But the activity, though, is still very high. When I look at the number of listings we take and what proportion we've had 0 expired listings this year, which is not normal. In a normal market cycle, you're going to have about 40 to 50% of your inventory is not going to sell for a variety of reasons. And we're seeing
that's normal, 40 to 50%.
Absolutely. In
Wow.
a normal market cycle. So
Wow.
we used to budget, and I've been doing this a long time. I've been an owner operator since 1984.
Wow.
Or manager for a firm, you know, leading firm in leadership somewhere. And the main point is that, you know, you would factor in on your budgets a 50%. So if you took 200 listings for your office, you assume that 100 of them would actually close.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot here, Blake, because I know that you study these numbers.
Yeah.
And you know, if it's a number that you haven't studied, just holler at me. But you said that you have 0 expired.
Right.
Is that your office or your company, or is that when you look at the overall in the marketplace?
So
is that what you're seeing?
In the multiple listing service last year, I did an analysis where about 12% of the 11 to 12% of the actual inventory that came on the market did not sell for whatever reason across all of CRMLS, which is the California Regional Multiple Listing Service, which is the largest multiple listing service in the country.
It's not all of California, but it's a good portion of it.
Yeah, it's over. I mean, there's you know, well past 10,000 real estate offices, and depending on where you're looking, it could be as high as 25 or 30,000.
I think the last time I looked, there was 1.4 million realtors that had real estate licensees.
I think there's that many just in Orange.
Maybe, yeah. A massive
feels
number,
that way, right?
massive number.
Yeah. There's more licenses issued than people.
Yeah.
that live here.
Yeah. So the bottom line there is that prices are still going up. Now I just looked here, and we use a lot of different services, but one of the services that I just looked at, and this goes back to what we were talking about in the last segment with Jim. If you bought your property at the wrong time, you say you bought your property last week, and I don't know if it's right or wrong time. I'm not going to say that's the wrong time. If that's your assumption, going back to what we were talking about in the B block, forecast right now for gain based on median home price in Orange County, California. Ready for this? Forecast for the next 5 years, $342,926.
Really?
Average gain?
That's the forecasted gain cumulative over 5 years. So if somebody bought the median home at $1,031,000 right now, we're looking at and I did this Orange County based on 92807, but 1 year gain is forecast at 9.08, 5 year gain at 33.26, $342,000 in appreciation. Now, I'm going to throw a statistic at you guys that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't. Do you know that last year was the first year in real estate or in households that people actually earned, the homeowner actually earned more money from their real estate than they did from their job?
Oh, I don't doubt it.
No, I wouldn't be surprising.
Isn't that amazing when you think about numbers like that? So kind of tying a bow on your comment, Blake, earlier, the way we were started, right? So yeah, you're $200,000 above the asking price. You got the house you wanted. You're living where you want, at least for some reason. something in your life at that time made you want that location, that property, that physical description. Maybe you don't like the number, but something, it doesn't mean you got a bad investment. Right? Hold it for a year, hold it for 2 years, hold it for 5 years. It very rarely in real estate do you have a bad investment.
Very.
Right? I mean,
well, the market tends to move.
It's sometimes it isn't the real estate. Sometimes it's the loan. Remember the balloon payment loans?
Sure. Yeah.
Remember when that went flying through the market?
Right.
And it just imploded.
Yeah.
So that was a mortgage problem, not a real estate pricing problem. But I think we talked before the show. We can only think of two years back to back where it dropped 50% total overall in value, but it recovered that. It's 25%.
Wait, 50% in value it dropped?
25%
Some of the properties along the coastal properties in 2008, 2009, the total accumulation, they've dropped to almost 50%.
But over a number of years.
Over this 2-year period. But they, because the coastal properties tend to fluctuate, they tend to fluctuate faster. So because the high end buyers, there's fewer of them,
right?
And so there's fewer
smaller market, smaller demand.
Sell. Yeah, right. So and smaller, total number of properties that you're sampling. So San Diego tends to lead Orange County into recessions and coming out of housing recessions
really
by about 6 months. So the real secret is to watch what's going on in San Diego. And I saw a story when I was down there a couple weeks ago.
Doing market research.
Yeah, I was doing market research because that's what you do down there. I was hanging out at the harbor. And that they said that it's the first time in decades that the population migration out was more than coming in the last 12 months. And it was only by about 11,000. But they said just the fact that there were more people leaving than coming in was unusual for San Diego because of how desirable it is to live there.
Right. Again, the migration issue is not a big factor. It's a very close percentage of what's going on. Some of that, though, I think isn't related to where they always used to say, "Oh, they watched the Rose Bowl. They're moving to California. Who doesn't want to be in Pasadena in January, right?" But the problem
we didn't have a Rose Bowl last year.
Huh? We didn't have one. We did.
We did this year, but not last year.
Okay, we had last year, this year. But at the same time, with a lot of industry moving out, so that their full tier of
are you going to get me all worked up again, Jim?
Yes,
I just got a glass of wine and settled down.
I mean, I'm not going to read up your Teslas or your Metas and everything, but companies have hierarchy inside. There's the lower paid worker, the higher paid worker. So they're looking for a broad spectrum of housing. Well, our broad spectrum of housing is gone.
Which takes us kind of back to what I did, a big conversation we had 2 weeks ago. Jeff Ball was here from the Orange County Business Council talking about affordable housing and
policies of why there is no. I mean, I could tell you as a builder, I can tell you one of the reasons there's no affordable housing is we don't build it. We cannot. I would love to build a set of condos or a set of townhomes again, but the legal aspects of it, you're going to get sued.
But go back to Josh. Bring that slide back up that we had just a minute ago, right? So we had $247,000. I think it said on there to build a new house, right? I'm 247,000 economic impact. Well, a lot of that's getting built into the cost of the property, right? So how do you build a $300,000 house when you've got, some hard costs in there? Great information as always. If you have more questions, you want to meet Blake or Jim, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. Talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.